Video Games to the Max. This is officially episode 150. Sorry we're not doing some kind of celebration right now, but hey, we can celebrate that maybe I will have a Nintendo Switch the next time we talk. So that's something, I guess. It's sorry again for the unintended break. Sometimes this stuff happens, but I don't know. Depending on how much time I get to play with the Switch and stuff, maybe we'll have an extra episode. Who knows? This week. But, I am your host, Sean Garmer. Here with me, of course, the man, the myth, Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
And, Mark, I'm not going to delay here because a game that I'm sure a lot of people are playing and are happy and enjoying right now. And we actually have another, Daniel's also playing this game too, but he's at work, so I couldn't have him on here with us. But Mark, you are playing Horizon Zero Dawn, one of the biggest games that's going to come out this year.
Oh, for a second I thought talking about our guys.
Oh, yeah, or that Torment game. I was just talking about that too. So I mean, how you've had a few days with it. What are your thoughts on?
It's good. I think it could use like a couple, I would say like another round, like training. Like they just throw you into it, kind of. Like after like the first hour, it's like, okay, here, go out and hunt and do everything. And it would have been nice if they kind of explained the skill system a little better. Because, like, I'm playing that game very stealthily. Like, I'm not like trying to like go out and hunt everything. And you can like do a one-hit kill when you're in stealth on like small robots. And I was like, I wonder if there's a talent to like do it on large robots, and there is. And that's after I already spent half my like skill points and other crap I didn't need.
So you don't want to actually like try to ride the robots
Not really.
Or do anything?
I'm actually playing this game a lot like Shadow of Mordor. Like pretty stealthily, ranged a lot. I get like hand to hand if I need to, but I don't need to often, or I shouldn't. When I just stopped playing, I got my ass kicked by this like huge, like charging thing that I'm like way under leveled for. It like knocked me out in 2 hits. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good for now.
So you think it's the best way to play is stealthily, or? Yeah.
Well, my build, yeah, like you get a lot of gear in the game. I'm like I'd say I'm like 15 hours in. I'm like level 19. I haven't even hit like Meridian. Like that's like the big town, I guess. I've tried to do all the side stuff I can. Like that's like reasonably well written. Like there's like a couple quests. Like go do a hunting ground mission. It's like no, I'm fine. I'll do that later. But yeah, I'm playing stealthily, so I'm like wearing stealth gear and using like the long range bow. The game feels it feels good, but it feels slightly janky in some like not bad, but I'm like Skyrim jumping my way up these mountains when I'm not really supposed to, and to escape detection that way. That's kind of fun.
That kind of happen a lot of games like that, though. You kind of run into this section you're not really supposed to be in, but you find a way to be there anyway.
Yeah. But it has great design. The voice acting's good. Good story so far. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It is a lot like third person Far Cry. So if you like that, if you like that, it's more of that. If you don't, it probably wouldn't appeal to you that much. Like there's straight up like hunt down 3 fox skins to get like increase your ammo pouch type of crap. So that's like directly from Far Cry.
Hooray! So I mean, would you consider it like a big game like Far Cry then? Like the world feels really big and.
Oh yeah, like it's actually I wouldn't say it's too big, but it's very vast, and you really need to use the fast travel to get around, like, from one area to the map to the other. Thankfully, it's not that much. Like, you have to use, like, pouches, I guess, but you get those in pretty regular supply, so it's not a huge thing. I saw one item that would have eliminated that altogether, and I didn't have the money to buy it at the time, but I should have.
What does it do?
It's like infinite pouches or something. It was like some weird epic item. There's like straight up like color coded gear, like green, blue, purple for that type of stuff.
Okay.
And you can modify weapons and armor, and yeah, it's good. I'm quite enjoying it.
Do you like the main character?
Yeah, she's fine. I hear a lot. I mean, it's the same voice actress. I think her name's Ashley Birch. I hear a lot of like Max from Life is Strange in her because she sounds it's very similar.
Oh, okay.
It's not a bad thing. Like I can just hear it. But yeah, she's interesting. I've seen some like weird stuff about like, oh, why is it a woman, and you should be playing as a guy in this game, and it's like you play as a guy in like 95% of games. Like the only games you don't play as a guy are like Tomb Raider and other like fairly exploitative games. Like,
right,
it's fine, she's a woman. Get over yourself. But I really like the world and like the chat logs and collectibles you find, and you find like a bunch of different crap that I'm trying to like itemize and everything.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'm glad you're.
And I screwed up. I missed one of the. There's like this godlike armor in the game that you're supposed to like start getting early, and I missed one of the stupid things to do it, so now I have to wait until I beat it. I'm pissed.
Aw, that sucks. So, I mean, do you feel like another 15 hours and you'll
maybe
beat the main story?
I'm not even sure. I know it's a long game. Like, I've heard up toward the 30 to 40 hours. It depends on how much side stuff. Like, I'm like on one side of the map, and like this town is on the other, and there's no way to fast travel to it. You're just supposed to walk to it, and I'm like, well, how much side stuff is going to be over there, or
right.
But yeah, it just feels like it feels good. Like, it feels like on par with like I would say like an Uncharted or like Mordor. It feels better than like an Assassin's Creed games because those always feel a little awkward.
Well, that's good. So if you like that kind of game, or just, I'm sure there's so many people interested, maybe didn't pick it up on launch week, definitely gonna be one of those to check out, and I'm interested in it too. Just kind of wanted to wait a little bit more for getting it, clear the backlog a bit. But you've also been playing the Torment Tides of Numenera or whatever.
I tried to play that and didn't get too far. To put it bluntly, the console versions of that game are fucked.
Wow.
I'm trying to play the PS4 version, and within the first minute it was stuttering and like jittering, and it's not smooth at all. And it's not a complicated game. Like, it's not like a Horizon. Like that does have some like frame rate drops here and there, but that's like when action is happening. Like I give that a big pass. This is like the opening mission, or like the first area you start off in, is like almost unplayable with how it's just jumping around, and it's like, what happened? Like, you tried to. I know you made the like reasoning like it's a Kickstarter game, but it's like, yeah, I've played like Divinity or even Wasteland 2. Those were fine. Like, I've played good Kickstarter games before. Like, this is not. And it's a shame because I love Planescape Torment, and I'm like, what did you do?
So does the PC version not have these problems then, or?
I don't have it. I assume it doesn't. Like, I got a good review from like Kotaku. Like, I think the main guy reviewed the PC version. I was like, oh, it's fine. And then a quick addendum, like, another guy played the PS4 version, and like he said it was unplayable, and I'm like, well, it's good to know I'm not alone. And I don't know if he went back to it or not, but I think Adam couldn't even get past the character creator. Like, it just would not move to the next section.
Wow.
So
How does that not get stuck on the character creator? That's wow.
I'd call that a like. I got this game like 2 weeks ago. I didn't talk about it. I figured it was under like embargo. It's been on PC for a while, but I mean I got the console version, so I figured wait until the release date. And I told them like the first night I got it, like within 5 minutes, I'm like, I'm not going to play this because it's bad. Like I told them like I hope there's like a day one patch like that fixes this so I can play it. And then it came out I think yesterday, and there was no day one patch, and I'm like, well, that's a bummer. Like I might not be playing this one now. Like
Yeah, like well, just gonna have to do a really quick review of wait, this is unplayable, don't buy it. It's pretty easy to say.
There is a game on PS4 called, I think, Lichdom Battle Mage, and it is
I've heard of it. Yeah,
it is like well regarded as like one of the worst like experiences on PS4, just because it runs like trash, and like Torment is like a good contender for that crown.
oh, that's sad.
I showed you a video like of the Kotaku thing, and you were just like, "What's going on?" Like, you didn't have any reference, and I'm like, "That's the point. Nothing is going on, and it's still running like this."
It's like I all I see is a guy running around, and I'm like, okay, what is he supposed to be doing? It's running terribly, but
yeah, it's running like it's like stuttering like crazy, and I'm like, yeah, that's nothing is happening, and that's going on. Like, what happened? And the thing is, it's an isometric game, so there's no like camera control. Like if you're going to look at this game compared to like Divinity Original Sin, like that's a way more involved game because that's 3-dimensional. Like you can swing the camera around, and that runs fine. It might be like slightly less detailed, but I think it actually looks better because it is more involved, and this game is just not that.
Ugh.
So, yeah,
Well,
that's been fun. I've been playing four other games, so take your pick. The Sky 2, reviewed that. It's fine. It's it's a port.
it's a Skya too,
Mirror's Edge Catalyst, Sniper Elite 4, and I got Urgeist in, so I played that today for once.
So, is Sniper Elite 4 kind of just, does it do anything different than the other?
I've only played Sniper Elite 3. The thing I'll mention, and it's not a bad thing, but it's something I noticed, is the game is long, and the areas are huge. Like, it dumps you into, like, every mission is basically dumps you into, like, I wouldn't say a city, but, like, a city-sized area. And it's like, alright, go do the mission, but you also have, like, usually have, like, 4 or 5 other side missions or, like, side objectives to do. And then there is at least 30 collectibles per mission to like try to find, and it's like, ooh, that's a lot.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot to do. I mean, at least you have a lot to do.
Yeah,
but
I'm mainly just playing it like a Hitman game almost, like I'm just sniping and silence pistoling my way through the game. Like it's fine, like it's good. I don't think I'm gonna finish it just because every mission takes an hour.
Goodness.
And I just don't have that in me. Like it'll get a good review, or it'll be like it's fine, but it's a very involved game.
So I mean, I don't really even have a recollection of Urgeist at all. So for people who have no idea what that is,
it is I want to say. Oh, when did it come out? I want to say like 1998. It is a 1998. Came out in like America 99. 3D fighting game on the PlayStation 1. It is made by Square, Square and Electronic Arts back when that partnership was cool. It's basically a 3D fighting game in like with almost like wrestling moves, kind of, because a lot of the fights take place in like a wrestling ring, and it has like 6 characters from Final Fantasy VII in it.
Yeah. I mean, is it good or bad or?
It's fine. Like you have like a light attack, heavy attack, and like a special attack. Um, you can like charge it to special attack to like make it like more powerful. It's pretty basic. Like, and the guard system is weird. Like, if you want to guard high, you just stand. Like, you don't have to hold a button down, but to guard low, you have to like hold a button. And it's like, well, it's 3D. I want to kind of always be moving, not guarding. But yeah, I've beat it once with Tifa, so that was fun.
Weird, you were telling me that apparently Tifa is more powered up than Cloud or Sephiroth.
Yeah, because Cloud and Sephiroth, like their special attack is just use their sword, and she has like a fireball spell which is quick, and then her power up version can home in on enemies, and she's also just quicker as it is. So like her little dolphin kick or 3-kick combo thing can crush anything in that game. It's a lot like an early version of Power Stone.
Okay, yeah, because I was gonna ask, I mean, obviously the 2 Dissidia games have kind of taken something from that and made it much better, but you know.
No, this isn't like the city at all.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot more of a stat-based game, and all this other crazy bullshit going on the screen at once. This is a lot more basic and simple, but I think it's actually kind of fun.
All I've ever heard over the years is people just hating on it, so it's interesting to hear that take.
I think it's primitive by today's standards for sure. I'm not gonna go like, oh, it's an amazing game or anything. I mean, it looks like hot trash, but it's coming from '99, so what do you expect? Like,
right? Yeah.
Like the Dreamcast wasn't even out when this thing came out, so what do you know?
Exactly.
I also bought Tomba, and that's cool.
Finally. So I mean, I think the only thing I'm really going to talk about is playing. I sat there and watched all 3 movies, the anime, and then I watched the anime that came out last year, and apparently they're continuing it to in sometime either this month or in April, the Elfhelheim arc of the mangas of Berserk, the Berserk and the Brand of Hawk, and I wasted my time because I could have just played this game and pretty much understood everything that happened in the anime instead. That's not to say that you get to know everything. There's obviously stuff that gets left out, but pretty much like the major hot points get covered in this game. It's very much like it's another Omega Force Musu Dynasty Warriors game. So like very much like the Attack on Titan game that came out earlier this year. If you care anything about the subject material, you're gonna like this game, because if there's ever an anime series that was made for kill 1,000 things on screen with just one dude, it's this game. It's Berserk, because that's basically what he does the whole series. Is just cut people in half or cut their head open or whatever. So it works, and it's nothing too stylish or whatever, but it does the subject material proud, I think. And it does have this cool like sort of tower mode that you can play with the characters that you unlock, that kind of gives you more background on those characters and whatnot. So that's kind of a cool thing. But I won't call it a great game. I definitely think that I don't know that unless you're like one of those that just plays everything that has sort of the Dynasty Warriors type gameplay, or just a Berserk fan or an anime fan, I don't know that that works for you because you might get bored or just not care about what's happening. But definitely, I think it's a series that people should go watch. It's awesome, and all the themes in it can connect to you in various ways. But yeah, so I mean that's all I got for playing something. But
Did you ever play Sword of the Berserk Guts Rage?
no, I did not.
You'd like that thing. You'd like that game. That's the only experience I've had with the series.
Isn't that one of those Japanese only, like
No,
on?
it came out in America. It's on Dreamcast.
Oh, okay. So I'd have to find some way to play it. But yeah, okay.
They're emulators.
All right, well, check it out then.
It's a third person event like action game. It's a lot like God of War almost. You know, like that type of game.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that would work for that game. So I've read some today. I've read some some straightforward ones, and then also some that kind of took a creative way of reviewing the Nintendo Switch. Now, I will say that supposedly, as long as I don't get some email telling me the contrary while I'm at work tomorrow or before the midnight, and I don't know, this is Walmart, so they're open 24 hours. I don't know if they're going to do a midnight release or not. I've heard nothing that they are. So far, my email, whether I got the pre-order yesterday at like 2 in the morning, because there's this thing called a Nintendo Switch Finder that's like gives you alerts of when they show up. What was funny is they would keep sending me alerts about Toys R Us getting them. So I would go to ToysRUs.com and it would say out of stock. So okay, I figured when they said, "Oh, Walmart has them," when I go on Walmart's website, oh, it just says I can pre-order it right there, and I can pick it up in my store. It doesn't even just only have the 2-day shipping option or whatever. So I'm guessing that a lot of people either cancel their pre-orders from Walmart, or Walmart as a whole is getting a lot more in. I don't know which one that is. I have heard a lot of people just all of a sudden after the Switch event and after a lot of the early reviews, people started canceling pre-orders. But I'll have to see because so far my little email says pick up after 6 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock at night, and I'm thinking, are you guys just gonna hold some for people? Or is this just one of those things that comes out and then I can still show up at midnight and get it? I don't know, because that seems really weird that you're just going to have somebody wait till 6 o'clock when you know you're going to have people show up at midnight to get these things. But anyway, so I read various different reviews, watched various reviews of the Switch. I don't know how much you kind of read of anything that's been out today and yesterday.
I read a few.
I think, also I think people looking at this, you have to look at this from the perspective of a lot of the big sites have to review it in a way that means you're painting the picture for the casual that has no idea what this is. And so the only thing you have is to compare it to the PS4 and to the Xbox One and say, well, it's not powerful as those systems. It's not. It doesn't work for your entertainment center like those systems. A lot of things that I kind of felt looking at it going, well, if you're a gamer and you already know what the Switch is, are you buying it because of those things? Not really. So I feel like the overall tone is negative, and I think it has a right to be negative. There are things about the system, like the Joy-Cons, the left Joy-Con decides it wants to unpair if you take it out of the portable mode and you play it with just, with both the Joy-Cons or whatever, which that seems really weird, that would be happening. But, I feel like this is kind of gonna get the Wii U vibe, and I feel bad because this definitely feels like they got this one right in a lot of ways.
I
I don't
think
know.
it's
What do you
just
think? What do you think?
I think it's just too early to tell. Like a lot of the reviews, it's like, well, it's not even like. Remember when the Wii U launched? Like it had that big day one patch.
Right, right.
Like I got a feeling this is going to have that type of thing. Um, I think the launch lineup is terrible. Like
Yeah,
except for Zelda, like that's it. Like even like that whole 1-2 switch game looks kind of bad to me.
yeah. The
Um,
1-2 switch is total gimmick, and then everything else is okay. Like snipper clips is kind of cool. Um, Everything else is something that's either been out, like Skylanders. Uh,
that's not a launch. Oh, I thought you meant Skyrim. Sorry.
no, and like Super Bomberman R. It's cool that they're bringing Super Bomberman back for the Switch, but it's like everything else is like, okay, I Am Setsuna, that's been out. You can get that
In
for like
case
$20 right now.
in case you
Yeah.
haven't played World of Goo on every other goddamn platform imaginable, it's here on this one
Right, yeah,
also.
and then two other Tomorrow Corporation games which have been out, and then Shovel Knight, which has been out on everything on planet Earth.
Yeah.
So, the cool thing for me is I can probably get both of these games. The bad thing for me is I'm the only one going to be reviewing them because I'm the only one on the site that has a Switch at the moment. But, second, it's just, like you said, it's really bare bones. You are literally buying this system for Zelda, and if you don't like Zelda, there's really not anything here for you. I don't know how fast. I mean, we do know that the end of April we're getting Mario Kart 8, so that's something that appeals
And
to the
Puyo
casuals.
Tetris.
And Puyo Puyo Tetris, which you can actually get right now on PS4 if you want. It came out on Tuesday,
Oh, it didn't.
and it didn't.
No, it got delayed. I think.
Oh, I got delayed. Okay.
Believe me, if it had come out, I would have bought it.
Oh, I was sitting there wondering like why you didn't say anything about asking for it, and I was like, okay, that's weird. I'm surprised, like, uh, because
Yeah,
I was surprised like you wouldn't have said something like, oh, I already heard from Adam about Puyo Puyo Tetris or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay, it got delayed. That makes sense.
it's out April 25th.
Okay, so what they did was they just waited until to release both of them at the same time, and Sony probably said, well, okay, people have waited this long, who cares? So it's a lot of combination of things. Like I get it. There's a lot of things intermittently that you're gonna get. Splatoon 2, Mario Kart, Mario at the end of the year. All these things you're waiting for, but in between, it's they had the big announcement of their Nindies, which
That was
uh
a terrible name.
yeah, I'm just calling it that because that's the verbiage that they
Yeah,
use, but. I mean, I think for the most part, like, I mean, some of this is, stuff that's already been out, obviously, like Stardew Valley. Uh, I think Overcooked coming to it, I think is perfect if you know people that have a Switch. The problem is knowing someone else that has a Switch is, that's a whole different deal, right? It doesn't have online co-op, so, that's a problem. Ukulele got confirmed, so that's cool, I guess. I've been waiting for that game. SteamWorld Dig 2. Uh,
I wonder if
the,
Mighty Number 9 will come to this thing.
uh, hey, I never know. Why not? I'm sort of interested in Blaster Master Zero. It looked good when I saw it. The Stick It to the Man guys basically made a Sticking to the Man 2 without calling it that, called Flipping Death. And then there's this Wargroove game which looks like it has the setting of Fire Emblem, but it looks like it plays like Advance Wars, which is cool. I like that. It had a lot more of the Advance Wars aesthetic with the screen splitting, and you see the like attacks happening or whatever instead of the Fire Emblem thing where you have the two dueling guys and whatever. So some of these might actually be good, but the thing is, like, you know,
Once off.
Susie Q doesn't care about that kind of stuff like we do. Having those smaller games that might carry you through a little bit. But It's just I don't want to feel this feeling of, oh man, I'm buying something and getting excited for it, and then I'm gonna be waiting and there's gonna be nothing to play.
Don't worry, wait until Capcom ports over Resident Evil 2 and 4, and you'll be happy.
Oh yeah, Resident Evil 4 again for like the 50th time. And then they've also kind of come out realizing that there's going to be games, which I think this sort of works because it allows Nintendo to truly be able to port over 3DS games without having to figure out how to make it work on the TV. But there's already a launch game on the Japan lineup that does not work on TV mode at all. So, be prepared that there will be games that you can only play portably. So if you're one of those that's buying this to be your home console for Nintendo games, just make sure you read. And of course the what?
Go on.
Oh no, I was just saying. Of course, there's the thing with the file size stuff.
Well, I was going to say about that Japanese game. Doesn't that defeat the entire purpose of the system?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a mobile port. So, like, they didn't want to sit there and try to make the graphics look crazy to be on a TV, so they just made the concession of, okay, this is not going to work on your TV.
Yeah. They probably just use a touchscreen and the dock covers it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, and then that's the thing, too, like, some of these file sizes for these games, and we've already seen it with Zelda, kind of hinders it because Zelda apparently has frame rate problems that makes it go like under 20 frames and everything at certain points because they decided that they wanted to have Zelda be a 13.5 gigabyte file and compress stuff that had they decided to just let it all be uncompressed and say, hey, you might want to buy this retail or you might want to make sure you buy a memory card. I don't know. I just feel like the first game that's going to be more than the standard whatever is Dragon Quest Heroes 1 and 2, a lot more of these games should be bigger than that because they should want to have the full capacity to them. And that's going to be one of those, I think that's going to hurt the system is how much are people going to compress their stuff and it's not going to look as good and it's not going to play as well as its counterparts because they're having to worry about making sure it fits in that little cart.
Yeah, but what counterpart? Like, it's not like Resident Evil 7 is not going to come to this thing,
Oh, no, it's not. But I'm saying, like, even just, like, Zelda shouldn't run with compressed stuff and running at 15 frames when there's stuff going on, if that's your big game, right?
Honestly, though, I've heard the Wii U version of Zelda's worse.
Oh, well, that doesn't surprise me. But, like, I mean, I wonder if this Gaia 5 is going to play worse than the PS4 version or not.
No, it's not an action game. That's a strategy game, so it won't really matter. Like,
right.
GTA 5, like, imagine trying to port that thing over to the Switch. It'd be a nightmare. Like, it looked like Vice City.
Yeah, that's what was funny about, like, Square saying, oh, well, if Nintendo will let Final Fantasy XIV work well with PS4 and PC players, we would really think about putting it over there. I'm like, what? How's that going to run on the Switch?
You'd be lucky to get Final Fantasy XI to run well on that thing.
Not even Final Fantasy XI. I mean, I don't know, maybe I don't know that the Final Fantasy XII, the remake, could probably run on the Switch.
Yeah.
Like, that's something you got to consider, and there's no virtual console either, so that makes you...
I mean, that's a bad thing. It's expected of Nintendo because they've always fucked up system launches, like the Wii and the Wii U didn't have it. But you think the third time would be the charm. And, they would have gotten their act together just a little.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if... I've heard some people think that you're just going to get a discount if you own the game before. Certainly they're not going to let you just have that game again.
Oh, God, no.
but I don't. They're saying they think there's going to be some kind of compromise between making you pay full price for it again, or giving you some kind of discount or whatever. And then of course the eShop is a day one patch. Even though there's a video that shows it in action, it seems to work well, but you know, it just seems like when the smartest thing you have to talk about this week is that you realize that the touchscreen control for Zelda wouldn't have worked because you're having to sit there do the Star Fox thing and look at the screen, look at the gamepad, look at the screen, and it doesn't work. That doesn't really give me great things to think about right now.
Too bad they didn't realize that before they put out Star Fox.
I'm still depressed about that game. I was so excited for Star Fox, and then
I was too, until I remembered they've only made one good Star Fox game.
Yeah, true.
And there's been about six of them. So yep. It's like that's not a great batting average. Like Kid Icarus has sucked, but they've only made two of them.
Wasn't the Super Nintendo one okay though?
I mean, I never liked that Super Nintendo one. I thought it was a very cool technical marvel, but it just was slow and it did not play well.
Yeah, the 64 one was the only one that they really kind of got everything, and then they just tried to emulate it every time.
Except when they made Dinosaur Planet.
Oh, remind me of that terrible thing. So, talking about something that costs $300 to something that's free if you have PlayStation Plus or Xbox Gold. For PlayStation Plus, you get Disc Jam, which I'm guessing that's something new.
I think it's like a Windjammers clone.
Oh boy, when you're about to have Windjammers come to the system, we're gonna have Disc Jam instead.
Yeah, it's a behind the scenes like third person one though, not like side scrolling.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. A game that I went back and forth sometimes inside of a GameStop about whether I wanted to buy it or not. Tearaway Unfolded, I can now just have for free. Under Night in Birth is for the PS3, and Earth Defense Force 2025 for the PS3. Lumo for the Vita, which is cross-buy on PS4, and one of the Vita games that definitely you should own. It's the same people who made Guacamelee, Severed, for your Vita. So if you don't have this and you have a Vita, you need to go get it right now. So for Xbox One and 360, Layers of Fear for Xbox One, and Evolve Ultimate Edition, so that you'll have nobody to play it with.
Yeah, Evolve is like... It's like, that is like scraping the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, it's like we really wanted to have a sort of big game, but then you forget that game is multiplayer, and you
stop supporting it on the console, on the platform.
Right. Borderlands 2, which I don't know if... I've never gone back to check and see if that... I remember that one time that there was the Play for the Weekend thing, and it still shows up as downloaded on my Xbox, so I don't know if they just went ahead and just gave everybody that for free, or...
No, they probably revoked the license, I would assume.
Yeah, I probably just need to try to start it up, and it probably won't work. But you can get Borderlands 2 from the 360 and Heavy Weapon, which I have no idea what that is, but I'm assuming it's a shooting game.
I think it's like a team-based, it's like a cartoony team-based game with vehicles.
Okay, it's not too bad then. Microsoft kind of took, aside from Nintendo, they kind of take the week here because they have announced an Xbox Netflix sort of thing. It's called Xbox Game Pass, and for $9.99 a month, which is the price of Netflix right now, if you get the 2-stream whatever version, you get unlimited access to a library of 100 Xbox 360 and Xbox One games, so you can expect anything first party, except for like Halo Wars 2 that just came out, will be on there, and you can download them to your system. And then pretty much as long as you keep paying the $10, you can keep playing the game. And then if for some reason you decide that you don't want to keep paying the $10, oh, and you don't have to have gold for this either. Unless you want to play the multiplayer portion of a game, then you do have to have gold. So that's something you need to consider. But if you do get a 20% discount on a game, if you want to buy it and you played it using Game Pass, you get 10% off the DLC for that game. So let's say that, I mean, you don't have an Xbox One or whatever right now, but let's say you did. Would you think this is a useful thing? Would you be interested in this at all?
For me, it depends really on the lineup. Like, they announced a few partners, and they weren't great.
Right.
And games are going to cycle in this thing, which is slightly worrying.
Means that's why it has the Netflix name, because Netflix cycles her stuff.
Yeah, but there's also much bigger, like, there's thousands of movies on Netflix, not 100 games.
Right, but I think that's the only way they could really get. I just don't see. Here's the thing, though. Like, if you make it like PS Now, right, where these games are on there permanently, would you ever really buy a game with that? The option to buy for 20% off. Would you ever really use that? Because basically, I keep paying $10 and I have the game for free.
Yeah, but with this thing, why would you always need to have the game? Like, most people, they just beat a game and that's it. They just, who cares? If you like the game, then go ahead and buy it. If you really love it. But if I had this thing, I'd have it for like a month or two and probably just get rid of it, because I'd probably blow through whatever games I wanted to play, and it's like, all right, well, that's that. I don't want to play Perfect Dark Zero, so
yeah,
later.
I think that's what's going to wind up happening. People are going to get it. They're going to play the games they want to play. They're going to unsubscribe. And then whenever the next cycle goes through where they put more games on it, they'll reassess again and go, okay, well, they want to pay $10 to play, a couple more games or whatever, and then they'll do it again. Yeah.
Go on. No, go on.
No, I just think that I don't think it's a bad system. Right?
I just want E3 to start with Phil Spencer getting up on stage and going, the Xbox Games Pass is still $9.99.
No, I think it's just. I think this is a cool thing, honestly, especially if you're. I really think this is meant more for if you just bought an Xbox One, or if you're not.
Go on.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's meant for the Scorpio, because no one's buying an Xbox One anymore.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. That too. It's meant for the Scorpio. But, yeah, if you're new to the Scorpio, right, and you've never owned an Xbox console at all, then, okay, well, you get the best of both worlds, basically, for $10. I mean, I don't think it's definitely a positive. Just, I think it's a little bit too late. Like, that should have been introduced when Sony was really making a big deal about PS Now. And say, hey, look, we did you one better where you can download our games. You don't have to stream them.
Yeah, but how often... I guess PS Now is useless, generally speaking. Like, I don't use it. I don't know if you do either.
No, I don't do it either.
But I have never had an interest in it, either. That's the thing.
Well, both of us still own our 360s, and if I see a game that I really want, I can just go to a GameStop and probably get it for cheap.
Yeah.
And just not deal with all that. So, I mean, I really think, like you said, this is more for if you have an Xbox One and you don't have and you never had a 360, or you're getting a Scorpio and you didn't have either system. Because I mean, if you've had an Xbox One this whole time, you probably got most of the games that are going to be on this thing for a while.
Yeah, how many times can you own Sunset Overdrive?
Sunset Overdrive is a great game, I will say that. And then, of course, they also had some kind of Halo thing, and they announced that all Halo games going forward will have split screen. What a novel concept. And
You mean that technology they had 16 years ago?
right. Yeah, they took out for one game and everybody screamed, so we're putting it back in. And they're going to tell simpler stories because apparently Halo 5 was too complex or whatever. So
Well, Halo, I didn't play it, but when I read it, it was the same problem with Halo 2. It's just in the middle of the franchise. And, I mean, sometimes that works well with, like, Empire Strikes Back or Mass Effect 2, but a lot of people just fuck it up.
right. Yeah, it's just hopefully, they deliver on the Halo 6, but
After Halo 6, are you done with Master Chief?
I think you have to be if you want to continue this at all. Just you gotta move on. You try to introduce Locke, and I don't think that works. You gotta just introduce a new character, or maybe you base it around a different character in the universe and say, okay, here's your main character.
Bring back the whiny Marine that David Cross played in Halo 2.
That's exactly who everybody wants to play as in the next Halo games going forward there. So a surprise announcement that wasn't supposed to be. I wouldn't be surprised if this was going to be some kind of E3 thing, or they are having GDC, so maybe a GDC thing or something. But Shadow of Mordor 2, just called Shadow of War, Middle-of-Earth Shadow of War, leaked by Target, of all people. Who knew Target was still relevant?
Well, they still sell games.
Yes, they do, unlike Kmart. So, touche. On that, there was a guy that wanted to bomb a bunch of Targets, so I guess, I don't know. So, August 22nd was revealed on the actual teaser. They then released a trailer after this had been, announced and everything. I like this supposedly a enhanced Nemesis system that has more environmental impact and all that. I'm sure I love Shadow Mordor 1, so I'm sure this game will be great.
Yeah, should be good. I saw like one thing. Isn't Mordor like 1,000 years in the past or something?
What? Oh, from the Lord of the Rings and all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But I saw like one article saying like it takes place like right before Lord of the Rings, and I was like, no, it doesn't. Like,
maybe the second one does, if they moved it up. Because this one actually has you going and taking down Sauron or whatever, so
yeah.
Maybe they moved this one up or something, even though I don't know why Talon would be in it, because technically...
wouldn't he be dead, or...
Yeah, he's dead. Unless his spirit is... You're going to play as a spirit in the game, or whatever.
Or maybe he's just like immortal now for some reason.
That's always possible. It is a fantasy game. Or fantasy series, so,
Don't have Gollum in it, please. That was such a bad, like, cameo or tie-in. It was terrible.
Yeah. Look, Gollum is what he is and everything, but, you don't have to put him in. That'd be like, let's just put Jar Jar Binks in there for some reason. I love the first game, so this game should be great.
Jar Jar will be the final nemesis.
Oh, yeah, exactly. He shows up and... Oh, Misa, why Why
He'll
you
be
want
immune
to
to
kill me?
he'll be immune to everything except for bad critic scores.
You just gotta yell at him, and that's why he dies. Uh, so keeping on with this, before we get out of the whole Microsoft theme, Peter Moore is leaving EA. He has been part of their sports division since 2007, and then he was a COO of EA. Now he's going to be the CEO of Liverpool, the soccer team. I'm not joking. How does this happen? And is Liverpool that bad off that we are having Peter Moore be the CEO of your team? I know, Americans now own the team. John Henry owns the Red Sox and everything, so, he owns Liverpool too, and LeBron, he owns a piece of this, but what the hell?
Well, I think he has been like a lifelong like football fan, or soccer, whatever. And obviously FIFA's a big deal, so
I mean,
they
he
can't.
was the guy that they used to hype FIFA all the time, so.
Yeah, because he speaks British, so get out on stage. That's all you're good for now.
Right, this is not the show to talk about what the impact is on Liverpool, but this is this is just interesting. Wow, that's cool for Peter Moore, and I don't know
It's
what this does to EA, but
Well, he wasn't like too involved. I don't think he was like, involved on the competitive side, but EA is in such a weird place now that who even knows? Like, I mean, I played a little Mirror's Edge 2 earlier, and that game came out. What was it, like in August of last year?
mm-hmm.
And it was on sale, like I think over 2 weekends ago, for $10 on PSN.
I think
And
it's on
it's
sale again.
Yeah, and it's
So
like, what happened? Like,
that game got hyped and then died immediately.
yeah,
Like, I have not seen a game go through that quickly in a long time. Just everybody was hyped to Mirror's Edge Catalyst. They had the E3 showing. I remember wasn't that great for it either. And then it comes out, and I think it also came out around the time like with other stuff, and it just got lost in the ether, and nobody cared about it.
yeah.
So it's
So
sad.
it's a fine game. I mean, same. It's the open world is nice, but that's kind of about it. Um, but yeah, I mean, Peter Moore's been around for like at least 20 years because he was like one of the big guys in the Dreamcast. So
Right. How excited are you for this Costume Quest TV show?
I'm actually fairly interested because they're getting. I think the guy who created Pete and Pete is doing it. It's an animated
Yeah.
show. I'll be curious about the voice cast. But I think it's actually a good property. The only other one would be a Psychonauts TV show would be cool also. But
I mean, Double Fine doesn't have Activision money to get the same kind of actors that you got in, the Skylanders Netflix show. So
yeah, but look at like who they got for like the Double Fine Adventure game.
Right. I mean, they did get Jack Black at one point, but that was also EA involved in that. So,
I think he got like weirdly into it though. Also, like that was kind of weird for him.
it was right up his alley too. He likes that kind of music and everything else. So it makes sense.
Too bad he didn't say drop this RTS crap and just make.
Oh God. Stop reminding me that I love that game so much, and then you start playing the RTS stuff, and it's like, why? I remember I liked the game too much that I kind of forgave that in the review, but
it's like for the first
2009.
For the first 2 hours, it's a cool game, and it's like, all right, go to overhead view and start like ordering units around. It's like, what?
Yeah, it was like a freaking Metal Lover's dream. It was like Metal Zelda, and then all of a sudden, oh, here's this RTS. I'm like, oh, come on. But yeah, hey, I like Costume Quest the games. They're fun.
I didn't like the second one as much, but I like the first one a whole lot.
I think I've only played the second one, so I would have to get back to you on that. But as games, they're fine. So I would be kind of interested to see how they handle the story and what they do with it in the show, or whatever. Certainly.
Hopefully, there's like a Pete and Pete costume somewhere.
Gotta have that nugget in there. Certainly. Eric Wolfpaul has left his job at Valve. Of course, he co-wrote Portal, Left 4 Dead, Half-Life, Episode 1 and 2, and Portal 2. And he's gonna finish up writing Psychonauts 2 for Double Fine. So that's good. But, I mean, you think he's getting out of video games entirely, or?
My sincere hope is he goes back to what he's good for, writing game reviews, reviving the crate-based game review system, because that is the only true way to review a video game.
Crate-based review system. What?
Him and his partner at the time. I think the partner's still at Valve. His name's Chet Fezzik or something. But they created a system where, from the time you hit start, or the time it's like playable, I think it's from the time you hit like new game, they count how many seconds it takes the game for them to show a box or a crate. And the less seconds there are in the game, the worse it's going to be.
Wow. Wait, how did they correlate that, like, to where it truly works like that? Where?
Yeah, I'll load it up real quick. So, it was like, what's a good one? Jedi Knight. Time to crate, 6 seconds. Notes. It's pretty complicated to get to the crate. Look at the map. Here's a good one. Omicron. Time to crate, -5 seconds. Notes. Crates appear in the intro movie. So, my hope is he goes back to doing this.
Yeah, I'm sure you can find more games that just start out with crates there.
A good one was, if you can find it, it was like Deus Ex. It's like you control a crate. Finally, a crate game for me, the thinking man. And
Metal Gear Solid, you just have plenty of crates. So.
The ironic thing is then he and his buddy went on to create a game where you control a crate.
Yeah, exactly. Probably just an in-joke on himself. So a win for the journalism community, I guess, or just streamers in general, or whatever. So, Jim Sterling, he reviewed. What's the name of this game? Digital Homicide.
No, Digital Homicide was the developer. Let me try to see if I can find it. But he reviewed
we have this news story, and I did not write the damn name of the game in here.
The game was called Slaughtering Grounds. That's it.
I feel like I just never heard of that game at all. But
it was Steam Greenlight. So.
Oh, okay.
And they're like a huge mess of a developer. I think they went bankrupt, and they got their
That's kind of unfair. It's like Steam Greenlight. Like, do you really expect the game to be like great or whatever? I
feel that way about most Steam games nowadays.
So like, Digital Homicide sued him for damages and assault, libel, and slander, and Jim Sterling won because obviously free speech, I guess. So that's good. Good that we get to keep that alive.
He's made a lot of good posts about the game over the years, so it's been funny.
Marvel says that they want to take their games a step further. Mark. They want them to be Game of the Year quality. We want every game to be Game of the Year.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's going to happen with Spider-Man. It'll be the first one.
Well, Spider-Man's it. Like, it's not like, oh, we got 6 other games in development. It's like, there's Spider-Man, and that's it.
I just don't know that Telltale has ever. I mean, they've gotten close. I don't think that's totally wrong on what I'm about to say, but I don't know that Telltale is going to be able to ever eclipse that first feeling you got playing Walking Dead, the first one, where you truly did have it being winning Game of the Year awards and all that kind of stuff. So I can't say that Guardians game is going to be it either, but
for me, it'd be the voice cast. Like, they're not gonna get anyone from that movie. Yeah, I tried to play Batman, and I lost interest in like the first episode. I was like, all right. I think the only game that came close was The Wolf Among Us.
Yes.
Even Walking Dead season 2 and 3, like season 3 is out right now, and no one talks about it.
Nope, they just released the disc version, and no one talks about it either. The Tales from the Borderlands was good.
That was also a good one. But like, no one cared about Minecraft really. No one cared about
the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's what I think of. Yeah, that one kind of came and went, and it's like, I'd like them to come up with something original. That would be nice. Or to quit using that engine.
Yeah, I mean, they could, revamp their engine, but will they ever get to, because they never get a break in making these games?
Yeah, the EA of adventure games at this point, or Activision.
They're so backlogged with these games. It's like, okay, so you have 2 episodes of season 3 of Walking Dead. Now you're going to have Guardians of the Galaxy. Don't they have, like, Avengers or Marvel or something? They have something else. It's like Avengers or... and don't they have some... They have another one, I think, that's back there too. It's just like, wow, you guys are just... I mean, good for them. They won't run out of projects anytime soon, so the studio gets to stay afloat. But how many times are you going to be able to do this so you don't get diminishing returns?
They have Game of Thrones season 2, and then like,
what?
Why? That warranted a season 2? Like,
I mean, you barely saw characters from the show. Or really the books that people really know, and it's like, unless you're going to do a lot of that this year, or with that season, I don't know that you're going to draw people into it. Not to mention the story was just boring.
I would take a Borderlands sequel or a Wolf Among Us sequel. That's about it.
I can't believe they haven't made a Wolf Among Us sequel. Like, that one was so good. I don't...
Yeah, but now they're doing Marvel. DC might be pissed.
Well, they did Batman at the same time that they knew Guardians of the Galaxy was coming, so... I think they kind of all know that Telltale this works with anybody.
Yeah. So. Make a Judge Dredd game.
But... I don't know if we need to go that far.
It'd be awesome.
So Ken Levine, maker of BioShock, has started his own studio, Ghost Story, and he's going to try to deliver on his promise of creating immersive, story-driven games for people who love games that ask to have something to think about them. I mean, I've always enjoyed Ken Levine's games, so I'm going to be interested to see what he does here. I mean,
what do you think is Ken Levine's best game?
BioShock, probably.
Nope. SWAT 4.
Oh, God. We got a SWAT 4 reference again in here.
He did Freedom Force also, and that was a cool game.
That's that old, like, PC game, right?
Yeah. PC, like, superhero game.
Yeah, I remember playing that when I was in high school. I liked that game. One of the first times I ever played something on PC.
Yeah. For me, I think my first PC game, obviously besides like Oregon Trail, I think was King's Quest 6?
Jeez. Oh, well, I mean, for me, I think it was obviously like Myst, because it was like the only PC game, that and Day of the Tentacle, that my dad had on the old computer that he gave me. But I mean, I think the first one that I ever like played of my own, deciding to seek it out, was Freedom Force. So, hey, Ken Levine, thank you for that, I guess. Hayao Miyazaki's coming out of retirement to make his first CG film. That makes me sad, because I always loved the fact that he always did his all hand drawn and everything. I missed that time, which now even anime is starting to get into CG. You can see it in the Berserk from last year.
I think some CG is fine. Like, I remember I watched, I think it was Appleseed Ex Machina. That was okay. That came out like at least 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Because that was more like just enhancing like the anime itself.
Right.
But yeah, most of it's just going to be like, CGI up the ass.
Yeah, they get too much with it. It kind of takes away from it. But I mean, I'm always love his movies, so I'm gonna obviously watch this as well. But
I don't
cool
think
that he's coming out.
I don't think I've ever seen one of his movies.
You've never seen like Princess Mononoke or Spirited Away or
No.
Man.
Let me look up his biography real quick. I want to say the closest I came was something he didn't do. Forget it then.
Dang. You need to watch those.
I have Spirited Away. I've never watched it.
Well, there you go. This is obviously renewal season, so lots of shows getting renewed at this point. At the time that I had this written down, Lethal Weapon was getting renewed with Empire, Lucifer, Star, and The Mick by Fox. 3 of those shows I watch. So
Which one do you not?
I don't watch Star, and I keep meaning to watch The Mick, and I just forget. But I watch Lethal Weapon, Empire, and Lucifer. So all enjoyable shows.
I watch Lucifer.
It's I really like the way that they did the cliffhanger. So
yeah, it got better. Like the first season was pretty shaky.
Yeah, definitely, it got better in the second season. Of course, Empire is just a wallop every time you watch it, and the biggest wallop of them all, This Is Us, that leaves you with crying every episode. It got approved all the way to season 3 because it does so well. That's like really rare nowadays, so that's pretty cool for them, I guess. The big announcement in the entertainment world this week was YouTube TV finally got announced. We'd kind of known about it for a little bit, but we didn't know what they were going to offer. It's currently $5 less than the base for PS View, which is $40, and if you kind of want anything for PS View, it's $45, which is what I pay. And like Sling starts out at $20, but you keep adding on $5 little extras, and that can go up. YouTube is $35 a month, has all 4 networks, which none of the other services have at the moment. And it's supposed to have unlimited cloud recording, although it's not completely unlimited. So if you're one of those like leaves your stuff on your DVR forever, there's only a 9-month. After 9 months, they do reserve the right to start deleting stuff, apparently. So, this seems like, again, I'm not gonna hate on all there's 5 of these. There's also a soccer specific one called Fubo TV, but they're starting to add in actually regular channels now too. And then there, of course, the DirecTV Now. So now there's 5 of these that exist. And it's really cool that we finally got one that has all 5 of the big networks, except for it doesn't have PBS, but none of them do. And then you have a, So a
Don't worry,
nice China lineup to start. Go ahead.
don't worry. PBS won't be around for much longer.
It won't.
Oh, I think Trump wants to kill PBS.
Oh God, Trump, just stop, man. But I mean, I don't know that you're still using Comcast, but if you,
I
what do
don't
you
watch
think
TV.
about? Yeah, you don't. I mean, do you think this is sort of a good deal for what's here and everything?
Yeah, it should be. I guess it'll depend on the quality. Like, uh, YouTube can be a little bad sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
Um, and if it'll have commercials or not, I don't know. Did they say?
Well, I mean, you're watching them like you would a channel.
Okay.
So, you're gonna have commercials if you watch anything live, and then it just depends on. It's just like PS View. The way it works is it's just like if you had cable. It's just it runs through your PlayStation or whatever, and then you're watching the channel live. Or if you get it on DVR, then you can fast forward. Or the on demand where you get like 2 commercials for every time that they want to go take a break.
Yeah.
Uh, so I just my thing is, will it be reliable? Will the stream be reliable? Like you said, YouTube is not always, and it's missing a lot of channels right now too. I think it has a nice list, if for starting, but it's missing some certainly from the ones that have been around longer. But still, you can't beat having all 5 networks, which nobody else has. So I don't know if there's anything you want to cover here, but you do have Nier coming out next week, and also there's another one that I can't think of right this minute. Oh, Ghost Recon Wildlands comes out next week too. So
I mean, I would take Nier, but I'm not like vying for it. The thing the thing I really want for like this month would be like Mass Effect.
yeah, Mass Effect coming out in the middle of March, so they did have to cancel their multiplayer beta. So that's something.
Much like the create review system, I should start reviewing games based on how much Clancy Brown is in them because he's going to be in Mass Effect Andromeda. So by that system, Crash Bandicoot 3 is the best game ever made because he talks to himself a lot, which is great.
Well, that's going to do it for this week. Like I said, if something from this weekend or perhaps something crazy happens at one of these Switch launch events, you never know. Or there's like this huge backlash or whatever, or I just happen to get a lot of time being able to use it that it's worth sort of having a podcast. Maybe we'll do something for next week. If not, we will be here next week. So until then, enjoy your games, and we'll see you later, everybody.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.